All right, folks, you're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. It's a little bit early than usual, y'all. We got something to do tonight. We're gonna be out in the streets of Compton shortly, but in the meantime, me and Dusty not gonna let you down, folks. Not gonna let you down with the goals like this. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark to concerts in the park. It's your boy Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. We're doing it like this today. Next week, who knows? But in the meantime, this is what's going down, y'all. Dusty is in the house.
Yeah. What up, Lons?
What up, Dusty?
Oh man, can't complain, man. How's everything going with you, bro?
Man, doing too much. Tonight is National Night Out for the sheriff, LAPD, all of them.
Okay.
President of the company in the Chamber of Commerce. I got to go out there and make something happen. I'm representing Raising Cane tonight, so they're one of my sponsors of the paper. So I went out there and show some love to the citizens of Compton. Do a live feed also. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do a live feed also from Compton. So I'll be back on about 5:30 with my man Curtis sitting in my seat. I'll be out in the streets making it happen.
Nice, man. Nice. Tell us about that program, Lonzo, with the sheriffs and the. Tell us about that.
Well, every year the sheriff has a night out with the community. Gives you a chance to come out there and hang out with the sheriff, LAPD, meet law enforcement. They give out pizza, hot dogs, just trying to reestablish a rapport with the community. I've gotten to know a few of the deputies over in Compton. I've been knowing deputies for a while. And like I told them for years, I couldn't stand y'all, man. When I was a young man, I could not stand the sheriff. They made my life miserable. And as I got older, I learned to appreciate it. I got family in the sheriff department as well.
What do you remember about the transition from the Compton police to the Compton sheriffs and why they made that transition? Did it make it better, worse? What are your thoughts on that whole transition back in the 90s?
That was in the 90s. That was a rough time in the CPT. I mean, it might have been late 80s. Oh, no, it was 90s. Accusations was flying everywhere, man. Everybody was, according to various sources, everybody was on the take. They was finding dope everywhere. Man, it was just a mess, dude. And they just felt it was time to bring in some outside services. That's when they brought the sheriff in, and it was done through a city council move. And the citizens felt they should have voted for it. And the whole transition was always under the microscope, and folks just was a bad thing. One thing about Compton's a big old Mayberry. Okay, folks, you went to school with the mayor, you went to school with the city council, you worked over here, you go to the same church. But it's a city, it's 10 square miles, but everybody is cross connected, and that's what makes it good for me. And when you're doing certain things like that, sometimes you have when you make a move over here, you step on one person's toe and 5 people squeal because that's my cousin, that's my nephew, that's my uncle, whatever the case may be. And that was kind of what was happening in Compton. A lot of folks got affected when the sheriff came in. So it just made for a rough transition. Is it any better? Compton has gotten better overall. Did the sheriff do it? I don't know. But Compton has gotten better overall. We talked about that today. Compton is having it, it has its ups and downs like any other city. I think Compton's problems were more publicized than most cities because it was a black city. That's just my personal opinion. But as Compton starts to evolve, you see it's less and less stuff happening in Compton. And here's some cities have the same issues, they just don't report them. You don't think they got a homicide division in Torrance? You don't think they have a homicide division in Carson or Gardena or any other city right there? You just don't hear about them. People have problems in every city, but for some reason the problems in Compton tend to get more attention in the media. I'm just saying.
You've seen Compton go through a lot of changes, 50s, late 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. When you say Compton has gotten better overall, can you tell us in what ways specifically you feel Compton has gotten better?
It's in some places a lot safer. I'm going to a family event today. We didn't have those back in the day, dude. I'm going to an event where you're going to see black, brown, sheriff, clergy, politicians. Everybody's going to be out here today, man, hanging out, to show support for the community. And that's something you didn't see back in the day, dude. If you saw a cop, if you saw a cop, most cats took off running.
Who were some of the cops back in the day that had a name for them that you remember, that guys on the street you may remember that may have messed with you personally? You know, every city has a few cops that, you know, they have similar names back in the day, back in the 80s, 90s. Who were some of the guys that you remember?
Now here's something funny. I lived in Firestone, so my neighborhood was patrolled by the sheriff. I don't know their names. I don't know them motherfuckers had me put my hands in my hot ass cars. Compton, I never had a problem in Compton. I never had a problem in Compton. I mean, by the time I started getting active in Compton, like I said, everybody, you know, my partner, we played baseball together. We went to St. Albert together. We did this together. I know his sister. So, you know, Compton PD was a lot more community orientated, but and that's also the problem. That's what they said the problem was. I'm not saying it was. I'm saying that's what the problem was because, you know, how do you bust your cousin? How do you bust, you know, your baby mama, whatever, baby daddy, whatever the case may be. And that's what made it pretty rough. But I never had an issue. By the time I started dealing with Compton and police, I was paying police to work for me and do those. So, you know, I didn't have a real issue.
Compton is going to be a big subject tonight because we are nearing, Lonzo, and I can't believe it's been this long. We are nearing the 10-year anniversary of Straight Outta Compton. It will be next week, August 14th, where 10 years ago, Straight Outta Compton, the movie, was released. It's just crazy even saying that because I remember the anticipation for the movie. I remember hearing about it. And of course, I was the biggest N.W.A supporter back in my day. So I was really looking forward to this movie. So we're definitely going to dive into that. But before we do that, Lonzo, I have a question for you. We talked about this a couple years ago. It was a subject that I would love to bring up right now. But you mentioned something about gangs or gang banging never benefiting anyone and never being beneficial. I think the exact title for the show we did was, Has Gang Banging Ever Been Beneficial? Can you break that down, Lonzo?
Well, that's easy, Doc. All you got to do is see if anybody that was actually in gang banging, like these hardcore, do or die, whatever you want to call them, how did that prosper you as a person? How did you prosper from that as a person? Now, if you can show me where you prospered from being a gangbanger, not being a gangbanger, getting out the gang, doing something else. No. I want to know how that association, that affiliation transformed you into to something positive from that relationship. And that's something I've yet to see. I know a lot of guys that have been through it, got out of it, moved on, got in the trucking, got into all kind of stuff. But for that being a career path, I ain't never seen that.
Ain't too many people retiring from gangbanging, right?
No, anybody retiring from that. If you retire, your retirement is jail or death, man. That's all it is to it.
Facts. And before we continue, I got to shout out the chat. I haven't gave you guys any love. Before you guys get too comfortable, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps out the algorithm. It lets YouTube know that we exist. Tonight, we are representing for Compton, and that's why I had to put this shirt on tonight. Lonzo, everywhere I go, when I put this shirt on, I at least get 2 compliments a day. And I know this was technically the competition back in the day when it comes to, you know, Uncle Jam's Army and Skateland. Well, you know, that but talk to me, Lonzo, about the importance of Skateland and why 40 years later, I'm still getting stopped in the street asking me, where'd you get that shirt from? Man, I remember Skateland. And then we go into this big old story of when I was a kid.
Skateland was very important to us, man, because that was the first skate ring we had in a long time in the hood. We had another skate ring called Rosecrans. It's a swap meet down. When they closed Rosecrans down, there was nowhere to skate. You had to go to Cerritos or somewhere far out, or Hollywood at the time. And then as when Craig opened up Skateland, I think it was 80, 88, 89, something like whatever it was. I'm not sure. It just changed everything, man. It changed everything. Skateland was formerly a bowling alley, and when they took it over and turned it into that skating ring, dude, it just gave us another. It was at that time, especially by being it right next door to Dudo's, because I just popped open Dudo's maybe a year before that, and this made that corner hot because nobody would touch that whole corner for years, man. Because original Pyro boy named Tam got killed at Dudo's at a dance. I think it was a homecoming dance or something at Dudo's, and nobody would touch it again. Nobody would touch it. Nobody would touch it till I touched it, and then people got comfortable coming back over there. And then when Craig opened up Skateland, that's why he hired me to open up Skateland when we promoted Skateland, and we had it going on for like the first 6-7 months of the situation. We had it going on. It was a great gig for us, me as Wrecking Crew, but it also gave people something to do. We danced on Friday, put skates on Saturday, you know, and it was unheard of, dude. You didn't have that in no community. We had 2 events for youngsters to participate back to back every weekend. Come on, man. But again, like so much other stuff that happens in the hood, niggerish attitudes come into play, and it ain't worth the hassle no more.
Sarah Catherine recently made a comment. She said, I've never been to a nightclub before, but I practically grew up in the skating rinks, though. Talk to us, Lonzo, about what one could expect when you are coming up, when you walk into a skating rink.
You walk into the skating rink, man. First of all, skating rinks have always been heavily secured for whatever reason. World on wheels, everything. Once you get past the security, if you got your own skates, you go to a little area and you sit down and you put your shoes in a locker, or you go rent some skates, depending on what your situation is, and you like cruise on down the little aisle, man. Hit the rink, dude, and you just trying to get warmed up and get your shit together, you know. And then as the music starts to fill you, legs get warmed up, start doing your thing, whatever it may be. You know, the DJ may call for a backward skate, they may call for a couple skate, they may call for I don't know, singles only. And skating is a whole different thing from dancing, man, because you're dancing on skates, you're moving, you're probably going about 20 miles an hour, depending on who you are, how fast you like to roll. And you have to be precise and careful, because one wrong move and you can get fucked up. Okay, you can get fucked up. Ask me how I know. So, and then sometimes, depending on what the skating ring is, and that's why some people like adult nights, because you got kids on the floor, you really got a whole nother hassle problem right there. You know, a lot of skating rings will allow family night, and the hardcore skaters come through. You got somebody there looking like Frankenstein, trying to keep his balance. Next thing you know, both of y'all sitting up in the ER room. So, it just could definitely be a problem. But for the most part, I've watched skaters over the years. I envy their skills. Some of them, I envy their skills. Got somebody that can get down on their knees, man, damn on their knees and just fly, just one leg out, one leg just gliding around the skating ring. I saw this one brother on Facebook. I swore it was fake, but they said it's real. Homeboy was coming around the thing, kicked his skate off, went through the little area, and he put it back on at the same time. Dude, come on, man. Come on. That was dope as hell. I mean, to see some of the tricks people do on skates. There's a documentary called United Skates. I'm in it. And we talked about Skateland at this time. And some of the things people were doing on skates, even in that documentary, was amazing, dude. But you'll never see skating of that caliber in the Olympics, because we're the only ones that can do it. Now, do we need to have our own skating Olympics? Yes, we do. But we got to do it ourselves. And again, and that was, to me, that was always the introduction to doing something on your own or making money, was to provide something that white folks don't value, that brothers love. If you can find something that nobody can bring to the community but you, like I did with Eve After Dark and Skateland, and nobody else gonna do that. That's not gonna be something somebody gonna invest in, because they can't. No disrespect to white folks, you just can't. You're not opening Craig did it. Craig the white man, he did that. But for the most part, you're not going to open up a teen club in South Central LA without having a ton of security guards. It ain't going to happen. So, that's just the gist of it, Doc. You got to bring something that, when you see the value in something and the potential for something, and there's a clientele, there's a heavy clientele for skating right now, but there's no place to really skate.
Yep. Now you saw the transition, Lonzo, when skating rinks were fun. It was a great place to go, pick up on some girls, have a great night out, have some popcorn, whatever, show your skills on the floor with your skates, and then transition them to when motherfuckers started hanging out in the parking lot and colors started to get involved, and the skating rink wasn't the same as it used to be. Can you break that? And do you remember seeing the transition back then, or was it more in hindsight? Oh man, damn, I remember when that all happened. Or do you remember back then? Oh shit, it's about to go. Like things are changing. I probably should stop coming here.
Parking lot pimping has always been a problem, Doc. Parking lot pimping has always been a problem for everybody because once you start parking lot pimping, the people in the parking lot have no vested interest in what's going on the inside. They're just there to pick up whatever scrap they can get. Once girls or once the rival gangs come out to skate, they're not there for any good. They didn't come to skate. They didn't come to have a good time. They come to see what kind of trouble they can get into, what kind of trouble they can start. And that's the problem when you have skating rinks. Skating rinks, especially because skating rinks attract people from all over. Everybody comes to the skating rink. There's no hood skating rings. Cerritos was probably the best thing we had for years, but because it was so remote in Cerritos, I don't know if that's those Cerritos gangs or not, but all the gangs knew that all the gangsters that skated had to come to Cerritos. So if you had an issue with somebody, you know where to find him or his homeboys at, and that's the problem.
Now talk about it from an owner standpoint. The liability, does insurance go up? When crime around the area goes up, how does it work as a business owner who would own a skating rink in, say the early 80s when shit starts to change?
Man, everything goes. You got to understand. First of all, a skating rink is huge. A skating rink is huge. You're talking about 100,000 square feet in some cases. That's a Walmart, dude. So to get a building in LA County, the taxes are gonna kill you. Okay, you're only using this building so many hours of the week, so many hours of the day, and to have to pay the rent and the taxes on a facility that large, and then have limited use of when you use it. That's very counterproductive, dude. And then you bring in bullshit. Come on, man. They said it in United States, dude. I can turn this into a Walmart or a Home Depot, get my money and sleep at night. They ain't got to worry about no lawsuits. And that's something that we have to understand as people, man. That if you don't, even if you own something, that's the problem. Well, I'll build my own skate rink. Yeah, you still got to put it in somebody's city. You still got to put it in somebody's city. If the city don't appreciate, don't want a skate rink, you're not gonna have one. I don't care what you own. If you can't get what they call a occupancy permit or a CUP is a conditional use permit. You're not gonna get it. You can't do shit. You'll be out there vending speech like everybody else. A CUP means that you have permission to occupy this building. Whatever you try to do with it is made to standards of the City Planning Commission, City Council, Sheriff Department, Fire Department, and all the various municipal departments involved have signed off on this shit, and now I can issue your CUP with your conditional use permit. And until you got that, you ain't got shit. Then you gotta find somebody to insure that son of a gun. Now, another headache. Ask me how I know. Another headache. Okay, how what's your capacity? What's all the factors? Everything I just mentioned. Your food, your fire, you have to meet all the requirements for the insurance companies. What age group you're appealing to? What is your demographics? What's your location? What's your revenue? Okay, all these things have to be. Man, this is dude. It ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. And this the part Then do all that right there. Wait. You ain't mentioned furnishing the son of a gun. You ain't mentioned putting no floor down. Skaters want maple floors. They want nice facilities. They want nice lockers. They want good rental skates. They want all this shit right here. And then two assholes get to fight and somebody gets shot and fuck everything up. That's your problem. Two assholes get to fighting over some dumb shit. Somebody come up dead. Now the whole building, all that investment now has a stigma on it. And you wonder why people don't put shit in the hood. Same thing, we're going right back to a couple of weeks ago, Carnival Cruises. Them boats cost hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions to build. And you telling me because some niggas get drunk and want to twerk at the fool, I'm going to lose money? No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not doing that. This is what we're going to do from this point on. We're going to stop this. 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 And if you don't like it, call somebody. But in the meantime, this is the internet. Most of them boats, people ain't realize they're not owned by American companies. They're owned by international companies, global companies. So you gonna fly to Belgium to sue somebody because you can't twerk on the kids in the pool? Get the fuck out of here. Not happening.
All right, before we jump into the main topic, Lonzo, let's cover a couple of things. Are you familiar or were you familiar with Hitman Howie T, R.I.P.? He
Yes.
just passed away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Talk to us about what you know about Hitman Howie T.
I met Howie T. He should produce Salt and Pepper, if I'm mistaken, correct?
Salt and Pepper, Real Roxanne. He produced I Want to Sex You Up. UTFO, Chub Rock, Special Ed. I mean, the list goes on and on. Yeah.
When I booked Salt and Pepper at Skateland, Howie T came with him. If I ain't mistaken, he was dating Salt Up Pepper. I think it was that they Salt at the time. Cool brother. You know, again, man, this is 40 some years ago, and people was passing through my life on a regular basis. I do remember we didn't take pictures of Salt and Pepper there. We didn't take pictures of Salt and Pepper there. So we don't have no pictures of any of that shit. I was back then. It was happening so fast. I didn't have time to go get a camera, get a picture, go get developed. But yeah, I did meet Hitman Howie T. I also had booked Real Roxanne at Skateland. Both of them came to Skateland, and he didn't come the second. He didn't come with Real Roxanne. She had another manager at that time. But yeah, we crossed paths back in the early '80s before we got gangster. It was definitely before we got gangster. And he was the man. He was the man. In fact, when Howie T was so hot, that was one of the guys that Dre wanted to compete with. He felt that was his competition. I want to be big as Howie T. Real talk. Real talk. He was kind of Dre's inspiration. Howie T had a lot of shit going on back in the day.
Damn, that's big. I never knew he was an inspiration for Dre.
Yes,
But it
sir.
makes
Yes, sir.
perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Man, R.I.P. 62 years old, man. That's young.
Hell yeah, especially if you're 68. Yeah.
Take care of yourselves, fellas. Well, someone sent me a DM, Lonzo, and I feel bad that I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a big supporter. He says, Dusty, please ask Lonzo about Teddy Riley's gangsta manager, Gene Griffin, R.I.P., the guy who mentored and guided Suge into being a thug in this industry. Do you know anything about Gene Griffin?
I never met Gene Griffin. I think he might have his Griffins confused though. There was Gene Griffin and there was Dick Griffin. Dick Griffin.
Okay, break it down. Break it down in case he's watching right now.
Gene Griffin was Teddy Riley's manager, a gangster as well. And according to Teddy Riley, ganked him out of all his royalties, his publishing, everything. And did anybody do anything about it? Dick Griffey was a promoter here in LA, owned Solar Records. Suge worked with Big West, who was Dick Griffey's main security guy. And that's how Suge got his training through Dick Griffey, not Gene Griffin.
Easy mistake. Got it. All right, cool, cool. Thanks for clearing that up, Lonzo. Well, before we jump into Straight Outta Compton and talking about the 10-year anniversary coming up next week, I'm gonna ask everybody to hit that like button if you have not already. Welcome to the show. We do appreciate each and every one of you. If this is your first time joining the channel, you like that real West Coast hip hop, that real authentic stuff, the stuff you're not going to get anywhere else. You're tuned into the right place. N.W.A. Stories with Alonzo. Hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more for you coming this year. And I'm Dusty Vision. That's Alonzo, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. Do your Google search if you are not familiar. All right, Lonzo, 10 years ago, man. And I'm doing it about a week early because I'm going to post the clips leading up to the anniversary of Straight Outta Compton on August 14th, 2015, man. It's crazy saying that. Before we jump into the, the stuff that we've talked about in the past, but, it's best time to talk about it now on the 10-year anniversary. Tell us how that movie changed your life, Lonzo.
For the first couple of years, I spent time defending the way I was portrayed in the movie. It was really amazing, man, because, man, you're a hater. You hated hip hop. You're a hater. You're a hater. And first I'd get pissed off and try to explain it to people. Then I realized you don't know shit. You ain't that no. You trying to make a movie into a documentary. It wasn't a documentary. And once I understood that movie studios have the right to embellish, what they call a creative license, they can take a character, and as long as it's not too far from the actual character, they can put a little something on it to make it seem more attractive. I realized that my character in the first part of the movie was pretty much the antagonist till Suge came along. Okay, and it got me a lot of speaking gigs, sold some books, a lot of speaking gigs, a newfound respect, and it's also in a lot of ways it's become my introduction for those who are not into hip hop. I'll ask them, "Have you ever seen Straight Outta Compton?" "Oh yeah, I've seen that movie." "You remember the guy giving Dre a hard time in this club for playing music?" "Yeah, I'm him in real life." "Oh shit!" And everything changes. Like I said, I'm a regular at USC. I speak at different schools all the time, and it inspired documentaries. It inspired by 2 documentaries. It just gave me another shine that I might not have gotten. Nobody else in hip hop had that kind of shine. They made movies back with breaking and stuff like that, but as a producer, I think as a non-rapping artist, a minimal rapping artist, put it that way, I think the 2 things that boost me the most was Straight Outta Compton and Dre using the Even After Dark in the Super Bowl. Those 2 things had a major impact on my life. Like I said, it's been 10 years, and some people still don't know I'm that Lonzo. And that, as rare as that name is, even though Lonzo Ball, they know it ain't his ass, but as rare as that name is, Lonzo, excuse me, I'm the same one. "Oh my God, I didn't know about that." "Okay, now you do. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" So yeah, and it's fun to hear some of the people talk about it and how they, once they get to know me or meet me, "You don't sound like an asshole." "You don't seem like that." But you know what? I explained to him. I said, "Man, look, when you run something, whether it's a business, your house, as a man, at some point in time, every once in a while, you're gonna say or do some shit to piss people off because you have a different agenda than they do, and that's just being grown up. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to make sure this business runs the way it's supposed to, and if you can't do it, we got a problem."
All right, so you told us that you cried when you saw Eve After Dark portrayed at the Super Bowl. Did you cry when you saw a character of yourself being portrayed on the big screen? That's pretty big.
I was blown away, Doc. It was a different kind of tear, though, man. It was a tear of pride. Both of them was tears of pride, But Eve was just, it was just so in your face, man. You know, I kind of knew I wasn't as shocked at Straight Outta Compton as I was Eve After Dark. I talked to the brother that portrayed me before, you know, before the movie was finished. So I knew I was going to be in the movie. I just didn't know how.
Gotcha. Yeah, someone says Crazy D, going off topic for a quick second. Crazy D is going to be a guest on the Dr. Green Thumb show. That's pretty big. I don't know if you're aware, Lonzo, but Crazy D has kind of been going semi-viral over the past week or so due to the fact that someone released a documentary on his life, just a little 20-minute, documentary. Yeah, pretty good. We talked about it briefly about DJ Maestro. Did you see that? Did you hear that part, Lonzo? Because that was the only part that stood out to me. That was a little conflicting. And we did bring it up. He said DJ Maestro was Dr. Dre's uncle and he owned a record shop.
I don't recall that.
Yeah. That threw me off too.
I don't recall that. I've never heard that name before. I've never known Dre to have any people I know that own the record store. I knew every black record store owner in Los Angeles. I don't know a DJ Maestro that owned the record store.
Who is Dre's uncle at that,
right.
So
right.
Yeah, interesting, man. I wonder where, and people don't believe chat. A lot of people get stuff from Chat GPT and AI, and they think it's 100%. I'm sorry, it's not. It's like them. It's like Google. It's like it's not 100%. And when you hear stuff like that, and I've been doing this show with Alonzo for 7 years or something like that, I'm like, yeah, I don't ever remember hearing about a DJ Maestro who was Dre's uncle who owned a record shop.
Dude, no, I've been knowing Dre since he was a kid, and I don't know anybody that he had any family that was on the record store. I can't recall that.
Yep. Well, shout out Crazy D. I hope everything's going good with him. I know he was having some issues, and hopefully things are good and he's ready to hop on that circuit. I know Lonzo has his line, so don't be surprised if we get Crazy D as well on the show. So definitely stay tuned.
I'm gonna reach out for it. He Crazy. He likes doing in studio.
In person. Yeah.
Now his ass is in Vegas. He said he was gonna come through, but he ain't came through yet. But that's Crazy D. I ain't mad at him.
Yeah. Shout out Crazy D, man. Very interesting story. And I hope his story gets more publicity because he's someone who shouldn't get swept under the rug, man. And hopefully he comes out and tells his story more. But let's get back to Straight Outta Compton, Lonzo, released 10 years ago, August 14th, 2015. What was the first thing in the movie that stood out to you where you were like, yeah, that's some bullshit?
That first opening scene when Easy was hopping over shit and jumping through shit and what the fuck? Y'all are good. Okay, come on.
Well, first of all, there was no Batarang in Compton, right?
No, that was L.A. That's the first thing. There was no Batarang in Compton. Number two, I don't ever recall him. I don't see him doing all that right there, and that's not the story I heard. It was like, boy, here we go. It was a great opening sequence. But far as reality, no. Yeah, okay. I ain't mad at you. And then you start seeing signs of here it come. Oh, here it goes. Me and Adrian, I think it was me and Adrian and Edwin, my buddy from Uncle Jam's Army. We all kind of sat together that day and watched the movie together. And it was like, yeah, okay. It's a good movie, but y'all selling some wolf cookies here.
Another opening scene, Lonzo, saw Dr. Dre laying in his room. I believe Summer Madness is playing in the background, if I'm not mistaken.
Summer Madness, yeah, it was.
Whatever, something's playing in the background, and Dre's just in his own world, probably thinking about music. And there's a mixing board in the back, or there's a piece of equipment. There you go. My life. Yeah. So there's a piece of equipment in the background, and you mentioned that you gave Dre that piece of equipment.
No. Did I give it to Dre?
Or I think you said a mixing board or something, or there was something in the.
Dre had a 1200 turntable. That's not true.
Okay.
He ain't had no 1200 back then. He ain't had no equipment. Dre never. I can't recall Dre ever owning a turntable. He might have bought something later on, but he never. I don't recall Dre ever owning any equipment. He may have bought some later on, but at that time, 1200s was 375. I barely bought two of them some bitches. And according to the movie, he hadn't met Easy yet. So now you got a 1200. Then he also has, they got a drum machine in the background. That wasn't right. Okay. And it was also a copy of Cabbage Patch in the movie in the background. They paid me a licensing fee to have it in there. That didn't happen. You made a record in your room. You made a record about a group you was dissing. That don't make sense.
Thank you to Placed Event for the donation. If anyone's feeling a little tipsy out there, and I mean they want to share a few bucks with the show, there's a little $sign right below. We do appreciate it, and thank you, Placed Event. Placed Event says, Lonzo, what are your thoughts on Area Spears' corny ass disrespecting Cube's talent? It did pop up in my timeline, but I didn't dive too deep into it. Are you familiar with that story, Lonzo?
Yeah, I saw it. He was on Vlad. He was saying that Cube plays the same character all the time. Okay. You know, I am not gonna get mad at a man's range of acting. I cannot sit here and diss Cube on any way because he may be limited in his range of acting, but the boy do every goddamn thing else. He's an actor, he's a rapper, he's a movie producer, he's a writer. Come on, man. I mean, if the dude, and he's not a bad actor, they just write scripts. I mean, if you write most of the scripts yourself, I'm gonna write it for my goddamn self. Okay? Why would you understand this? Understand this. Most of his franchises he owns. Okay? It's easy to sit on the sideline and diss somebody. If I'm going to write movies, I'm going to write movies that fit Lonzo's personality. I'm not gonna put me in a movie. I'm not gonna write a movie for myself and put me as a goddamn priest or some shit. I'm not gonna do that. Okay? I'm not gonna put me in a movie that's gonna put me in as being a lawyer. Maybe a judge, not a lawyer. Okay? So if I'm writing my own scripts and producing my own products, it's easy to say what somebody else is doing, especially when you ain't doing it yourself. It's easy to be a Monday morning. I like Harry Spears. I think he's a very talented dude. I think he's fucking hilarious. Okay? But until you step into that man's shoe, you think Harry Spears would write a movie about some shit that he doesn't feel comfortable doing? Come on, man. I mean, you did some shit. Now people forget he's the same dude that just got back in people's good graces on that child shit. Okay, he just got on that back on people's good graces there because the public has a short memory. And they forgot him and Tiffany just got off that bullshit. Okay, they both was talking about they was going broke because nobody wanted to mess with them. So why pick on Cube? This is something else I just think that's kind of a disheartening situation, even in hip hop in general. The only way you can come up in the game is to diss somebody else. The only way you can come up in the hip hop game is dissing somebody else. Now you may have your opinions, and that's cool, but why we got to put ourselves on a chopping block? Anybody else ever said that before? I ain't never heard nobody else, no other movie critic, anybody else diss Cube on anything. Okay, he ain't gonna win no Academy Awards, but shit, the boy got multiple platinum albums. He got multiple franchises of different multiple franchises, period, and he's making an impact in the sports arena. You think he got time for acting classes? If we go to his movies, so why? If I'm going to your movies, why are you not? Why I got to change? He said he respects him. He don't like his acting chops or something like that. Man, come on, dude. Let's see with that bullshit. If the man put himself to work by making 2 or 3 movies, 2 or 3 different franchises that works for him, you try the same shit. There's no reason why you can't. Technology
Yeah.
being what it is, there's no reason why you can't make your own damn movies. Big John do it. They ain't no high quality shit, but the nigga on Tubi, he got product. Bottom line, he got product. So miss me with that bullshit.
And yeah, I think it is picking on him because saying an actor plays the same character in every movie is kind of silly because a lot of the best actors play damn near the same character in every movie. I mean, Samuel Jackson is damn near the same character in every movie. I mean, Adam Sandler, and that's not a diss because once again, they're some of the best. So yeah, I think it's more along the lines he's trying to pick on Cube.
Yeah. You know, hey, man, come on, man.
Yeah. Man, shout out to Cube though, doing that War of the Worlds. I got to watch that because that's one of my the classic. I don't know if anyone knows about War of the Worlds. It's from the 1930s, I believe, 1920s, 1930s, and it's based on a radio show that terrorized America, got America really scared, saying that aliens were crashing, and it was just a radio program, and people were tuning in, you know, at certain times, and they believed the story so much they literally thought aliens were invading the earth. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, and that's what I like about Cube too, man. I mean, he does ride along, he does kids movies, he's doing this War of the Worlds. I've seen him jumping out of planes and shit. He does a lot of different stuff, man. Arias is tripping, dog, and I like Arias too, but he's tripping.
Yeah, I saw World of Worlds. I didn't know I was supposed to. I didn't know I was supposed to just like it. You know, I watched it Saturday morning before I got up and started my day, and it was some sci-fi bullshit. I mean, that's what it was. It was mild budget. He spent most of the time in one room talking to his kids on various platforms. Low budget, okay? The monsters were low budget, but it reminded me of something I used to watch back in the day. I used to love watching the Gargantuas and Godzilla and all the other monsters that came out of China that was stomping on cars and doing dumb shit. That's what it reminded me of. Okay. If you compare it to Avatar, no, it wasn't shit compared to Avatar. But I saw, what's his sister's name? She had the movie, and her daughter was lost, and she was trying to get her, help her get back home, and it was almost the same thing. She did the whole damn thing from her phone, trying to keep up with her daughter. It gave me the same vibe as that. I think Kiki Palmer. I think it was Kiki Palmer had a movie where her daughter was doing something and she couldn't be found, or she was someplace, and it just didn't. It was all limited, and the movie was well accepted. But I think people expect Cube to deliver something different all the time, every time. Yeah, he has some decent sized movies, and again, here's something people don't realize. A lot of these movie companies ain't spending money like they used to. That was a Netflix show. That was Netflix. Cube was he probably made more money than the whole goddamn budget was. He probably got more money to be that character than the whole budget. It was a Netflix movie. It wasn't a blockbuster. It wasn't Paramount. It wasn't one of them big ass companies. It was Netflix. Okay? And, you know, most Netflix movies I don't too much care for because you can see the limitation in the budget. Okay? So, you know, I didn't know I was supposed to just like it. That was all right. You know, I'm glad I had to pay for it, but it was all right.
Makes it even better. I didn't even know it was on Netflix. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I thought I was gonna have to pay some money for it.
No,
Even better.
Yeah.
Cool. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Once again, thank you for Place to Vent for that donation. Really, really appreciate it. Now let's move back on, Lonzo, to Straight Outta Compton, released 10 years ago, August 14th, 2015. What were your thoughts on the actor who portrayed Eazy-E?
Jason did a good job. Jason did a good job. I thought he did a real good job, man. You know, he was believable as Eazy-E. You know, at one scene when he got Dre out of jail, and Dre said, "Yeah, you can sell dope." That shit was funny. Okay, so yeah, I think they could have wrote his part. Eazy was a lot more quick-witted than Jason was, but you know that wasn't on him. That was the writer's situation.
And you've mentioned that Easy was, you just said quick-witted, but you also said he was kind of a joker, right? Like just he liked to play
Yeah,
jokes and have fun and laugh. And I don't think they portrayed that as much.
not at all. No, you know, um, that's one thing about movies that people think they know the story of a movie, and they tend to want to focus on what they think they know. That's the problem. But I think a lot of stuff that we subscribe to, people think they know us, and they don't know us. They just know what they heard. Hold on one second there. Hey Doc, I'm on the podcast. What you at? Where you at? Take your time. All right. So yeah, Doc, I would have took that call, man, but he got to relieve me so I can go do this other event. We cut that out. Anyway, yeah, folks, we live. Um, so yeah,
EVE, Joker being portrayed.
yeah,
Movies, you said movies. That's what it is about movies.
yeah. That's the problem with movies. They were so focused on him trying to be a little hardcore dude. He forgot he loved to have fun. They got all about that part because nobody. That's not the part that people want to believe he was human. They didn't show him with his kids. That nigga loved his kids. They didn't show him with his kids. Man, Easy come. It wouldn't be done for Easy to go out and run out to Chuck E. Cheese and have all his kids there. Ask Bobby Brown. Okay, it was no big deal for Easy to go to Disneyland with his kids and just stroll through Disneyland having a good time. Ask Violet Brown. She says it in my documentary. He would take her to go pick her up. Hey, let's go to Disneyland. He was that kind of generous dude. Everybody going to Disneyland. Let's go. So they don't ever show the real side of dudes like that, man. They just I guess they only got a couple of hours to make it happen. They focus on that's their way of focusing on the person. So anyway, nah, it was all right, but they could have did a lot more with that character.
Placed event is the MVP of the day with another donation for $4.99. Really appreciate it.
Much love to you,
Lonzo, were you cool with how DJ Yella characterized you in his book?
I haven't read the book yet. I haven't read it. I got it. I haven't got around to reading it yet.
Is there a part that you heard about that people
I wish man, what's your number? Call me. Shit, call me right now. We're making that phone call we just had. You put your number in the chat or something, or hit Dusty something. Tell me what he said. I don't know, because we were super cool after that. I don't know what he said. Marlon, look at Marlon, man.
Marlon with the 1999. Good looking out, Playboy. Appreciate you. Marlon Cozy says, yo, Unc, if Easy was still alive, do you think he would still come by your crib?
Yes. Easy was the only one outside of Yella that came to my house after they blew up. Easy was the only one that would come by here. He pull up, hey man, I'm gonna hang out for a minute. All right, dude, go ahead. He sit there at my dining room table or in the backyard and kick it till the twins showed up. He would lie and tell his girls he crashed over here, some shit like that. Yeah, quite sure he would.
You said he was always on the phone hollering at his girls too at your place, right?
Always. He was notorious for taking my damn brand new cordless phones that just come out. He kept my fucking phone in his back pocket the entire time. Man, give me my damn phone. I can't call nobody because my phone. I gotta find you to use my damn phone. Give me my phone. And that's the kind of shit we went through. When this girl would give him the blues, like, man, you stop checking in every few minutes. Oh man, I don't want to hear about. Yeah, you gonna keep hearing them off anyway. I mean, it's sides of these dudes that nobody knows, man. Everybody wants to see everybody wants to see Superman. Nobody want to get to know Clark Kent. Everybody wants to know Superman. Nobody cares about Clark Kent.
Nice. That's a great line right there. All right, Lonzo, someone you knew very well, Jerry Heller. Paul Giamatti, great actor. The guy who played Jerry Heller. Do you think his character was pretty accurate?
Yeah, I think he did a real good job playing Jerry. he was shorter than Jerry. Jerry was a nice sized dude. Other than that, as far as physical, Jerry always reminded me of two characters, and both of them are in Harlem Nights. He reminded me of the cop, Santone or Cantone, and he also reminded me of the gangster that broke the guy's fingers. He reminded me of both characters. You know, Jerry could be, I mean, that was his personality. One minute he could be a cold son of a bitch. Next minute, you know, he could be a funny, cold son of a bitch. Okay. And if he liked you, he liked you. If he didn't, he didn't. All right? But, you know, he could go, hey, how you doing, Lonzo? Everything good? You know, this goddamn sugar's getting on my fucking nerves. I need to make a phone call. You know, I mean, he flipped just like that. But Paul Giamatti, he's a great actor. So I think he did a great job of portraying Jerry Heller.
Was Jerry a guy who, and I guess feared is the only word I could use, but was there people that feared Jerry Heller due to certain connections they knew he had? Or was he, you know, in the industry, how was Jerry Heller seen?
It all depends on where you were in the pecking order of the music industry. At one time, he was okay. He knew a lot of people. And I remember when I first met him, he was kind of down and out, down and out. He just had a major divorce, living with his mom. He said everything I'm telling him, and he was kind of hustling in Macola, trying to find acts in Macola. He had been a booking agent for a while, worked with some heavyweight people. Music changed on him. He had a divorce, and some shit went down, and he had to start all over again, pretty much. And he had different people that looked out for him, but then sometimes because the industry is so pop, it's levels, it's different levels, man. When among certain people, he was a big dog. He was a super big dog. Other people, he wasn't. He wasn't. And I saw this with my own two eyes. I'd never forget. Jerry and I went to go meet Joe Iskro, who's still alive. Very well-respected guy. He was a record promoter, big-time record promoter, okay? And record promotions are known to be very, I can't say it, but you don't want to mess with them. They're going to get your record played, okay? And Jerry took me to a meeting with he took me to a meeting with Joe Iskro, and Joe Iskro hold on a second there. I got to send a text.
Go ahead, do your thing, man. Do your thing. Got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Right.
Joe Iskro, Jerry Heller, damn near genuflected in front of Joe Iskro, and it blew me away. I have never seen him give anybody that much respect in my life. I've never. It was like Don. It was like Don. He gave him Don respect. Like the Mafia Don. I'm not bullshit. He gave him Mr. Iskro. How you doing? This is my client, Lonzo Williams. Hope your day is going. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because that's not how you doing. You son of a bitch with a long time no. No. I was sitting there going, what the fuck? I had never seen that before. I'd never seen him give that much respect to anybody. And I just found it very interesting, to say the least.
Okay. Got a few more minutes. Do one more question and we'll wrap it up. I know once the movie came out, Lonzo, everyone and their mama was telling the world, man, I should have been portrayed in that movie. Is there anyone, though, who you know was left out of the movie, Straight Outta Compton, that you felt should have been portrayed in the movie?
I can give you a laundry list. JJ Fad, Laylaw, Michelet, who else? Arabian Prince. That's 5 right there.
Who was the last one you said?
Arabian Prince.
Oh, Arabian Prince. Duh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They skipped all over his part that because, like they said in the chat room, Arabian Dre never owned no music, no equipment. Arabian had all the music. Arabian had all the music. There wasn't no Easy had a couple. Easy had turntables. He had no drum machine. He got it later on, but he didn't have all that stuff in the beginning. So he had to get it from someplace because the investment had not been made yet. They were still focused on studio time. They wasn't trying to spend no money on no equipment at that time. That was out. The whole thing with the whole gangster move was the experiment. That's why they started off with Panic Zone and Something to Dance To, some Wrecking Crew songs they knew they was going to get on the radio. So yeah, JJ Fad was how they got all their money. Well, they got their big money. They forgot about Michelet. That was another platinum album. So yeah, it was a few people that got left out of that project that they just wanted to focus on the Eazy-E gangster part. You know, they forgot that their beginnings, humble beginnings, came from dance music and R&B.
There it is, man. I got a bunch more questions. I'm going to save them for next week. We'll do a part 2 of Straight Outta Compton, the 10-year anniversary. August 14th, 2015 is when it came out. I think I'm going to watch it this week just, for the love of hip hop and just for the memories and just for the trip. In fact, that it's been 10 years. I can't believe that, man. Let's start wrapping it up. Lonzo, any last words? What do you got coming up? I know you stay busy, man.
I'm leaving here early. Got to go to Compton. We're doing national night out. Basically hanging out with the police, man. Hanging out with the police, community hanging out with the police. I'll be working with one of my clients from my newspaper is Raising Cane's. We'll be doing a live remote from Compton for Raising Cane's, passing out merchandise, hanging out, kicking it with the folks, just trying to make some things happen, man. Just bring awareness to the community. Compton is changing, man. Be a part of the change.
And once again, before we go, thank you once again to Place to Vent, and thank you to Marlon Cozy for those donations. We really, really appreciate you. Why don't you hit him with that outro, Lonzo?
Before I do that, I want y'all to check out my prostate cancer walk, man. Marlon said he's coming. I'd love to see you here, Doc. With September 20th. If you cannot come, I want y'all to donate, man. Because if y'all watching this podcast, you're probably of age for prostate cancer. Okay, not saying you're gonna have it, but you need to know all you possibly can about prostate cancer. I'm a prostate cancer survivor, and the only reason why I'm here to do this podcast today is because somebody pulled my coat. Hey, man, go get checked. And I did. I had it. I'm good. Okay? Don't fear the finger. Okay? Do not let this finger, although it's optional, every once in a while, they may have to run it up in your ass and check some shit. Okay? But PSA is the main way to do it. But again, every once in a while, he may have to just feel and see if you can feel some lumps or something. It ain't gonna kiss you, ain't gonna break ain't no hymen and get you a subscription to a gay magazine. Don't worry about that. That ain't that kind of thing. I hear cats talk all, man, I'll do anything for my family. Man, if you have to get that finger for your family, get that finger for your family, man. If you're going, I'll kill for my family, I'll die for my family. If you take a finger for your family, if that's what it's gonna take, bro. Don't make you no less of a man, just make you responsible. That's all I'm saying. All right. In the meantime, folks, for those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery, stuck ice cube in the freezer until he got cold on the eve after dark, 50-yard line to Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that Hollywood bullshit, because it was all cap. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for Not Without Alonzo. Peace, y'all. We out.